People often admire the lush, sprawling branches, yet forget that a tree's true strength lies where no one can see it. The story I am about to tell begins on a late afternoon, when the sun was but a fiery orange streak at the horizon's edge. I can't recall which day it was, when the young boy named Ethan once again tasted the bitter flavor of failure. The startup project he had poured his heart and soul into had collapsed. Promises, plans, sleepless nights, all dissolved into thin air. Ethan felt like a fragile paper boat amidst a storm, engulfed by waves of doubt and despair. Disheartened, he wandered to the hill at the edge of the village, where an ancient pine tree stood, said to have weathered hundreds of seasons of rain and sun. He slumped down at its base, leaning his back against the rough, gnarled trunk, feeling utterly small and weak. Ethan looked up. The pine's canopy remained verdant, proudly stretching out to shelter a vast expanse of sky. It had stood there for ages, witnessing generations born and lost, enduring countless rages of nature. Winds howled, storms raged incessantly. Lightning tore through the sky, yet it remained, towering and defiant. "How can you be so strong?" Ethan whispered, a question not meant for anyone, but rather a sigh for his own helplessness. He had tried so hard, learned tirelessly, sought every external support, but in the end, he still crumbled. Just then, a warm, deep voice echoed from behind him, because it knows the source of its strength. "Young man," Ethan startled and turned around. An old woodcutter, his hair the color of mist, was slowly approaching. It was Arthur, who had lived his entire life around this forest. He set down his bundle of firewood, sat beside Ethan, and his kind eyes gazed up at the ancient pine. Arthur didn't ask Ethan about his sorrow, simply continued the story of the tree. "Many people think this pine is sturdy because of its massive trunk, or its wide canopy that can block the wind," he said, his voice slow. "But they are mistaken. Its true strength lies deep beneath the soil, where no one can see it." Ethan listened in silence. Arthur continued. "Whenever a great storm strikes, other young trees try to grow tall quickly to catch the sunlight. They pour all their life force into their branches and their outward appearance. But this pine is different. Every time a storm batters it, instead of trying to reach higher, it chooses to embed its roots even deeper. It uses the very force of the storm to push its root system into every crevice of the earth, clinging tightly to the deepest rocks. The bigger the storm, the deeper the roots must go. The stronger the storm, the firmer the base must be." Every word from Arthur struck Ethan's mind like a hammer. He froze. He realized that all this time, he had lived exactly like those young trees. He had focused too much on growing fast, quickly achieving success, quickly gaining recognition, quickly building a glamorous external image. He sought out crash courses, beneficial connections, miraculous get-rich-quick schemes. He was like a tree solely focused on cultivating a wide, beautiful canopy to show off to the sky, never taking the time to root. He had not diligently trained core skills, had not built a solid foundation of knowledge, and most importantly, had not nurtured inner strength and steadfastness from within his soul. And so, when the first storm hit, the tree named Ethan swayed precariously and was almost uprooted. Arthur placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder, patting it gently. "The strength that helps a tree stand firm is not its wide canopy, but its steadfast roots deep beneath the earth. It's the same for people, my boy. What others see in you, your degrees, status, wealth, those are just the branches. But what truly keeps you standing firm against the storms of life is your root system, your core values, your will, your perseverance, and the inner strength you quietly cultivate every day." He pointed to Ethan's head and to his heart. "Your roots lie here and here. Your thoughts determine who you are. Your inner power determines how far you can go. Only those who steadfastly embed their roots deep into their own ground can overcome all difficulties." Dusk had fully settled, leaving a deep purple, star-filled sky. Ethan stood up, bowing his head to thank Arthur. He no longer felt despair. The sadness was still there, but beneath it, a new seed of determination was beginning to stir. He looked at the ancient pine one last time, not just with admiration, but with a profound understanding. He knew what he needed to do. It wasn't about struggling to rebuild an identical tree to the one that had fallen, but about starting anew, from digging a deep hole and replanting his own seed. This time, he would not rush. He would take the time to root, perhaps you too. In life's journey, There will be times when we are so engrossed in pursuing lush, sprawling branches that we forget to nourish our roots. Remember, storms are an inevitable part of life. Instead of fearing them, learn from the ancient pine. Use the very pressure of challenges to embed your roots deeper, to become more steadfast. For only with unwavering roots can you stand firm through every tempest. And then one day, proudly stretch yourself towards the sky, not to boast, but to shelter other young sprouts.